college is much more than about getting a job.
Right.
And I think that we need to really think about the value of higher education in turning us into, adults, turning us into citizens, turning us into thinkers. And that can't be measured easily. One of the things they should look for, and it's kind of there's somewhat of a paradox here, is that they should look for a place where they're comfortable, but also where they're going to be uncomfortable. When I went to college, I was the first in my family to go like a couple hours from home. I had gone to a place where no one else from my high school had ever gone before. It was a little scary, right? Now, it was also comfortable to me because I was only 2.5 hours away, so I wasn't like across the country. But it was uncomfortable. It made me question a lot of things for the first time in my life. It made me change my major at least once while I was there. So it forced me to ask questions. One of the things I find in a lot of my reporting is the peer effects of higher education, of a college, right? You learn just as much from your peers as you learn from everybody else at an institution, faculty, staff, and everything else. I always encourage people to go to the place that's going to challenge them. So I'm a big fan of going to the most selective college you could get into, for example, because I think the peers around you, the fellow students, they're going to help you out in many ways. They're going to help push you in the classroom to take more rigorous courses, to do better in them. But I'm also finding, as I look about life after college, they're going to be your network. They're going to open up opportunities to you.
Right.
They're going to be suggesting internships to take and jobs to take, and they're going to become your lifelong friends. So you want to go to a place where they're going to challenge you to be a better person.
This is all about, regardless of what happens in the classroom, acquiring a set of skills that are going to carry you going forward. Okay. I have a son who spent his entire undergraduate career interning for newspapers. It almost didn't matter what he majored in, because when he graduated from college, he was a seasoned journalist. He was a seasoned professional and had an advantage over almost everyone else that was coming out of college. Someone who comes to a place like Georgia Tech and takes advantage of our entrepreneurial programs, or walks down the street to General Assembly and takes some courses, or participates in the startup activities on campus, is going to have that body of knowledge to rely on, regardless of what they study. So again, this richness of experience. If we go back to the Edwards Lawson story, in early 1900s, Edwards Lawson would have said, "Go to the university and talk to students." Now he would have said, go to Georgia Tech and walk around Midtown and just pop into Hippopotamus, pop into the startup activities, and see how excited people are about what they're doing. Those are the things that students can do in addition to what's in the classroom.